Hey everybody! I am Meg from Loven Stamps, and I am excited that you guys are here this morning. So I have another project to share with you featuring desert details from the Delicate Desert Suite. So that's this one right here. And this actually has a lot of great things in the suite. So it has the stamp set, it has the die set, which has some outstanding pieces, some frames and some items that match the images in the stamp set, and then also some accessory dies that you will really like. And then we have, of course, the designer series paper, so pretty, and the dry brush metallic paper that we're going to use today on our card. So one of the things that I often find is that I love both sides of a designer series paper, and I don't want to commit to using just one. So I don't know about you guys, but I definitely sometimes get attached to both sides of the paper, and then I'm not sure which one I want to use. So if you guys are watching this morning, say hi, so I know you're there. But today's card means that you don't have to choose which side of the paper. You get to feature both, which is always a perk in my book. So, hi, Tanya. All right, so the paper we're going to use is this one right here. And today's card is actually one of the to-go kits for the month of February. So if you're getting Loven Stamps card kits to go, then this is one that you'll get to see. Yay, Melissa. So why don't we switch over here to our camera, and I will talk to you about this card because I have some cutting information for you. Let's go here. And some details on sort of making the most of your dry brushed paper. All right, so here are the pieces that I have kind of ready to go. This is actually a 6x6 piece of the designer series paper, but we're gonna cut it down. I'll show you that in a second. I have the card here that we're gonna use, and the card is, I think I know what size, but I don't want to tell you wrong. It's 5 1/4 inches tall by 5 inches wide, like this, and then you're just gonna fold it, okay? So this is gonna fit in our folder. Now, you can leave this 6x6 if you would like. Hey, Sue and Kelly and Deborah and Becky. But if you want this to fit into a regular envelope, then I think you'll be happier to go ahead and trim it down. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and cut this down to 5 1/2 inches instead of 6. All right, so now it is 6 inches wide and 5 1/2 tall. And I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in half. So we're making kind of a little folder that our card is going to fit inside like this, right? But we want all of both sides of the paper to be shown off. So we're gonna go ahead and trim this. Again, hey Margie. All right, so I'm lining up we're gonna cut a diagonal, and I'm lining up the edge of the score line, which is right here. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but trust me, it's pretty close. And then about halfway down the side of this paper here. So about like that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that. It doesn't really matter so much. You just want it to be pretty close. And I got pretty close. I cut off a teeny bit extra, but no big deal. And then we're gonna hang on to this piece here. So we'll be bringing it back for part of our card. Hi, Kathy. We were talking, the weather this morning here was beautiful. And now it is, here, I'll show you. Can I show you? Let's see. Go this way. It's like all of a sudden, oh yay, there's my camera. There, oh, this is not working. Okay, let's do this. There, it's like gray and rainy and kind of a mess and stuff out there all of a sudden. It was sunny this morning before. So I don't know if you Midwest people are having the same problem as me, but anyway, all right. So we're enjoying being indoors today for certain. So we've got our folder here, and we have our card that's going to fit inside like this. And we want to have a closure for this. And so we're going to do kind of a reverse closure on this. This is a piece of the very, very pretty dry brush metallic paper. It's about 1 inch tall by, I don't know, 4 inches or so wide. And I'm gonna just fold around to the back like this so that I have about that much on the back and this much on the front. And then because this is gonna be a part of our card that's gonna swing and sort of have people moving it around, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Seal Plus to get a really good bond on that. And you could also use tear tape or multi-purpose liquid glue would also be good choices. But we're gonna go ahead and pop this here on our card front, okay? All right, so we are going to now work on decorating the front of our card here. And so we are going to do some stamping now because these images are so gorgeous. So I have this piece of basic white cardstock here. And I am going to go ahead and ink our flower. And I would like our flower to be this soft succulent color. And I realized I have my wrong blending brush here. I need my orange one. There we go. Because we're going to actually do some sort of double color here on this. So I've got my stamp mounted already, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. So I'm inking it in soft succulent, which is such a pretty color. And I'll just show you here. We kind of see the difference. So there's soft succulent stamped as it is. But you can add color to it if you take your blending brush and your other color. So I'm going to take Cajun Craze because that's one of the other common colors in this suite. And I'm going to just dab around. So I'm picking up color on my pad and just dabbing around the edge so that we get sort of a two-toned image. And that one is going to look like this. And it just adds a little bit extra interest to the flower. It's not quite as flat. It's not a very flat looking flower anyway because it's got so much pretty drawn detail in it. But I really like having the extra color. So we're going to do that. We also want one of these smaller flowers. And so I'm going to do the same thing again, just a little extra color around the edge. Hey, Trish. All right, and then stamp this one. All right, there we go. Now, we are going to use our dies. We're going to use, I think on the last card I showed you some of the other dies in this, and I wanted to show that again. So this is the card that I showed you last week, I think. And remember this detail here where we punched through the paper so you'd see the cardstock in the back. There just are really outstanding dies in this set. So we're going to use, for the moment, our pieces here for the large flower. There we go. And I just leave my washi tape on them half the time. And our small flower. And if you think a little bit ahead, usually you can get them far enough apart on your paper that you can cut them at the same time. That's why I love the washi tape, because now this is all ready to go through my die cut machine and I don't have to work at trying to get them to stick again. So through the magic of television, we have our pieces die cut. Okay? I know, super fast, right? We all need the magic of television for our card making sometimes. So we have our flowers here that are going to go on the front and the inside. So let's talk about a greeting for the front of this card. We have our floral that's going to go here and our greeting. And I want to use this sending warm rays your way. Now, the problem is that if I stamp this on the front of our card like this, it doesn't actually fit. So you got a couple of choices on that. The first choice is that you could choose to use the greeting and have it just overlap the edge, because this is still going to fit into, it's only 5.5 inches tall. We've got actually a little more space to be in a 4 1/4 envelope. Or you could use the trick of stamping your greeting and then cutting the words up to add to your card in an order that fits your shape better. Becky asked what paper this is. The Designer Series paper is Delicate Desert. And it's beautiful. I'm loving it. So I looked at different ways to add this greeting here, and I realized that I really wanted some kind of nice soft variation. And so I picked a piece of the Designer Series paper. So this is one of the other papers in the same package. And I love this color variation on the front. So we're going to use that to stamp our greeting. So I've got this sending warm rays your way. And I realized I was at Stamp Club the other day and I was like, okay, stamp on your scrap paper. I hope you guys do this. It's a trick that I always do as a stamper, but I've made this card before, right? I'm not showing it to you for the first time, so I don't worry too much about it. But I always stamp my greetings or my images on my scrap paper one time before I do it on my real paper, so that I can just make sure that the stamps exactly the way I expect, okay? So anyway, I thought I'd give you that example. So a lot of times, like, it just changes how hard I press, or like if the greetings are really fine, like there's a sending comfort stamp in the Sale-a-bration mini that has super fine text on it, so you have to push a little lighter. Just use your scrap paper. You don't have to use cardstock, but just use the scrap paper to pre-stamp, and then that way you'd be happier with your images when you get them on your actual pieces. So, all right, so we have our Sending Warm Rays Your Way. We're gonna chop this up a little to put on the front of our card, but we want to, let me zoom in just a little bit here. We want to think a little bit about how we're gonna divide this, right? Because if I did like sending warm and then raise your and then weigh, that is a little bit choppier. It doesn't feel as like natural to me. So we're going to do sending. So I'm gonna chop this here. And then we're gonna do warm raise as the next part. So think about parsing like how you'd speak this a little bit. And then your way. And since I got that really tight on the other pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the front and the back of our greeting so that it matches, okay? So now I have sending warm rays your way, all right? So that fits a whole lot better than that long version we had before. And then our flower is gonna go here. Now, I really like to add bling or texture or something else to the front of our card. And we do have some sort of bling from this dry brush paper, but we're covering up a bunch of it. So I wanted to add a little more texture and decided to grab another item from the suite. Sorry, my tray is falling all over. And that is the super squishy, super fun velvet ribbon. So I'm just gonna cut a piece of this to fit here on the front of our card with a nice diagonal. And this is pale papaya in color, so it's a nice match for our pieces. And that is gonna fit across right like there so that we can add our textured items. So I'm gonna use some of our, again, strong adhesive because this piece is gonna kind of be flapping around. So I've got our Seal Plus on there. And then I'm gonna use some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I might actually, I'm gonna overlap the edge here because we can, and I might cut away some of this ribbon here just to make sure that I get a really, it's all hidden, so there we go. And I get a really nice sort of bond then there between our flower and our piece. And let's see, do I have some Stampin' Dimensionals? I do. So I'm gonna add a couple Stampin' Dimensionals on here. Again, safer to add the dimensionals here to your project than on the back of the flower, because that way you know you won't overlap and have them fit in a funny way. Okay, like that. All right, so we have our flower there. And then we're gonna add our Sending Warm Rays Your Way. And for these, I'm gonna go ahead and pop a dimensional on the back of each one. And you can trim the height of these a little bit tighter if you want to. I kind of like them this height. I'll show you my other sample where I did them a little bit closer. And then usually safest to start at the bottom to make sure that you fit your greetings where you want. Make sure you get your words in order. Sending your way warm rays is okay, but not as good as sending warm rays your way. And so then our card is gonna open like this, okay? All right, I'm pretty sure that we need to add some bling to this. So this is the gold faceted adhesive backed sequins. And I'm gonna add one here to the front, maybe a medium or a larger one. I'm gonna add a bigger one, what the heck. It's just gonna go right down there as our accent on our flower. And it's sort of our, like, hey, this part here, this opens alert. So then we're gonna have our card inside. All right, so we haven't gotten to our card yet, but see how pretty it is there with the matching cardstock. So we used our designer series paper here, which really, this color variation sort of ties the whole thing together between the lighter whites and the pale papaya. And then we have our cardstock here, which is set off, which is really pretty. Okay, so card, what to put on this little card? This is kind of a fun size. Like I said, it's 5 1/4 inches tall. So that it fits nicely in our folder. And then it was 5 inches wide, so it's only 2.5 inches wide after I folded it. And this is where I said we're gonna bring back in that triangle of designer series paper because we want these two pieces to tie together, right? So we want to bring this back in. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach this to the front of our card. And I just have my Seal Plus handy, so I'm gonna use it again. I don't always use Seal Plus on all the steps of my card. All right, so I'm gonna lay this down here and I'm going to mat it sort of left and right. So we have sort of an edge here on our card. And then this little tip here, I don't think I managed to get adhesive on the back. So I'm going to add some multi-purpose liquid glue. Just remember, if you can see it, it's enough. You don't need a giant mound of glue. And I'm just gonna hold this for a second to make sure it grabs. And that is going to fit, onto the back of our card. So we have sort of that fun little continuation there. I don't know about you guys, how do you stamp your backs of your cards, or what do you put on there? I have some hand stamped stamps, and then of course there's the ones from Stampin' Up! That include the Stampin' Up! Logo if you're going to sell your cards that fulfill the angel policy, handcrafted, things like that. But I also, sometimes I like to just initial the back of my card and then maybe put a date on it, which I kind of think is kind of a fun way to mark them. So, all right, so we have this. Now I want to use this little flower here, but I really want a much more vertical feel to this. I don't want it to be like everything's down here in the bottom corner of our little card. So I'm gonna add a vertical element and bring back in the dies. So one of the dies that's included here is this really pretty border. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this from Cajun Craze cardstock, because that's gonna bring in this color. And we have one cut here through the magic of television. And can you see the detail on there? It's just a really pretty border with lots, I guess I should hold it flat. Anyway, with lots of great detail on it. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this on here. And I think it looks like I've cut it to the right size already. I'm gonna use my multi-purpose liquid glue again. Remember, if you can see it, it's enough. You can see how little glue I've got in there. Really, you don't have to glob it on. So, because you really don't want it to pop out the sides, because it stays sticky when it's dry. So you don't want the extra glue bits to be kind of sticking out there, catching people's fingers and envelopes and stuff like that. So, all right, so we've got our piece, and I just left a little bit of border right there. And then now we have a vertical piece here, but I feel like I just want something a little bit more down here. And so another one of the dies, we use this cute element, or this really nice Southwest element before, but this plant element right here is a really pretty choice also. And I would love to get more soft succulent into our project here. So I've got a piece of soft succulent cardstock, and we'll cut this, and through the magic of television, have this ready. So this is sort of a really pretty aloe slash yucca slash that kind of feel. And so I'm gonna pop this behind here like that, and then add our flower to it, okay? I feel like this actually could be lots of things. I have some stampers who like to do things sort of out of the box. I feel like this could be a really pretty like wing or something, like if you had a horse stamp, or you can make a Pegasus. Anyway, okay, just thinking out of the box there. So let's go ahead and pop this on here. The easiest way for me to stick this down, I can use some multi-purpose liquid glue underneath there, but honestly, the easiest way to stick it is to pop some dimensional over the top. So I'm going to put a strip of dimensionals here from the edge piece there of my paper on the back of my flower, and I'm gonna hold this in place and just go ahead and put that down. So now this element is nicely attached, and we didn't have to work hard to attach it or worry about glue coming out anywhere. So use those dimensionals for sure. All right, so now we have our card that fits perfectly inside, and our cute little envelope piece that comes together on the front. So just like so. So a really fun way to sort of have your designer series paper and view it too. So we see both sides of the pretty paper here. When we open our card, we reuse that little piece that we cut off there. And of course, you have the rest of your pieces that you can kind of mix and match. Remember to think about your greetings and putting them on in sort of a unique way. But really, this is a card that's a lot of fun for somebody to receive because it has so many layers and so forth. And I did not attach this into the folder, but you certainly could if you really wanted to glue it all down and it would just open like that. I kind of like it as a free-floating thing, but there you go. So that is the second of our Desert Details features for Loven Stamps monthly tutorials for the month of February. And these tutorials are not quite available yet on Etsy in the Loven Stamps Card Mart. shop, but they will be available there pretty soon. And we have I have the other card that I showed you last week, which is this fun Z-fold card. Our theme for this month is cards that are fun inside and out. So you can see that even when the card is open, either way, you really have a lot of kind of fun on the inside of things. All right. And then I have 2 more cards that I will reveal as we get closer. Actually, if you want, you get yourself a sneak peek and cheat and look on the Loven Stamps website under card kits, online clubs, card kits to go, things like that. And there's a picture of all 4 if you can't wait to check them out. So, and remember this card right here is one of the ones that you will get as a card kit to go. So you'll get the pieces, the cardstock and the paper and everything pre-cut. You'll get the little piece of ribbon, a little sequin. You'll get the die cut elements here that are ready to go. You'll just need to provide your stamps and ink. So if you want to make it exactly as we've made it today, then you would need to order your stamp sets and have the Stuffed Succulent and Cajun Craze ink pads. Or if you want to adapt this for a different stamp set that you have on hand, you could do that certainly with your card kits. They're yours to craft as you like. So, all right. Let me pop this over here and just say that it has been really fun to stamp with you guys today. And I am excited to show another project to you on Tuesday, because today's Thursday. Happy Pre-Friday, everybody. Is it Thursday? I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. Whew, crazy week, right? So I look forward to seeing you then for another project. If you are a Loven Stamp Folds demonstrator, I look forward to seeing you tonight. We have our Business Builders meeting on Zoom, and tomorrow we actually have our tips team Zoom with our cards and so forth. So if you need details about those, check the Facebook groups. And if you're not a Loven Stamp Folds demonstrator, I would love to have you join us. There are details about how to join our team, which are on my website at lovenstamps.com. There's an amazing special going on right now. It's an extra $50 in your starter kit, which you really can't beat. So great chance to check that out. All right. Hey, Carol. Hey, Deborah. I'm glad you like the colors. This Southwest feel is just making me really happy. And somebody asked me the other day, do you pick your tops to coordinate with your colors? Usually I pick them at least to not just conflict with my colors. So anyway, that's how we ended up wearing mustard today. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a chance to make a card and send a card. And I will look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for another Maker More's with Meg. So happy stamping, guys.